Time Out Youth is the LGBT youth center working with youth ages 11 to 20. In the summer, we bought our forever home with the purchase of 3800 Monroe Road. Dan and I have been friends for many, many years and worked together through several organizations. And we've always had this vision of doing something monumental, is what we've called it.
The task of development is always big and scary to a group of volunteers, but Dan broke it down, made it easy, and made it seem very simplistic to us. Having the Belk Foundation or the Gambrell Foundation donate the $1.5 million to Time Out Youth was partly due to Dan's continued coaching and pushing us into that level.
I met Dan in the early 1990s when I first moved to Charlotte, and he was a community leader back then that really helped us really build a sense of community in the LGBT world. Without Dan, we never would have had a Charlotte Lesbian and Gay Fund. He read about an opportunity for our community to apply to a national funding partnership to establish a fund at the Foundation for the Carolinas. He knew that we had a need for additional funding for our LGBT groups that couldn't be met by us just reaching to ourselves and having more parties. But by partnering with the foundation, we could achieve better financial stability for the organizations that we had and more recognition in the community that we were present. We could be out, we could be proud, and we could be better supported.
I became involved with when he was conceiving of the Lesbian and Gay Community Center. And it was an exciting time because it was something Charlotte had never seen before, and it was easy to get behind and easy to get excited over. And worked with him, I remember cleaning out that dusty building on Central Avenue. I remember the yard sales that we had to raise funds for it.
Then he built a center that made sense, that was a place for all kinds of programming, all kinds of performances, visual arts, a safe place for people looking for community. That was the legacy. He always was building something that we couldn't have imagined until he brought it up. And then we all said, okay, Dan says it'll work, let's try it.
He pulled together a board that raised funds, wrote grants, and created queer cultural art events. Imagine that. I mean, it's pretty mainstream now, but it wasn't.
Dan raised the bar on expectations in this community.
And from things like the Blue Party, it was our first fancy party that we went to. We weren't in the bars and we weren't doing potlucks. We had special blue drinks. I think we even did Better Homos and Gardens.
He also made sure that the businesses in Charlotte got involved with what was going on with the festival.
So Dan brought a real cultural arts component to this city. Live readings, plays, music, a soap opera. And on first impression, Dan does not seem radical. But 20 years ago, what he did was radical.
And there was this big, tall guy, and he had this big, booming voice. And he was talking about gay and lesbian people singing together, and I'd never heard of such a thing.
When One Voice first took the stage in 1989 and then again in 1990, the people who were in the group were afraid to put their names in the program. They were afraid they'd be fired. They were afraid their family would find out and they would not be invited to Thanksgiving. That's what was at stake for people.
I got sick 20 years ago, and when I was in the hospital and they asked me in physical therapy, and my goals were to make it to my seat in the Sting games and to make it on stage at One Voice. And that's how much One Voice has always meant to me.
He helped us make sure that we were including everyone. Diversity and inclusion was really central to who Dan was, making sure that every aspect of our community, black, white, Asian, rich, poor, everyone was included.
Dan was Hamilton. He was nonstop. He probably is still nonstop. He was the one person, no matter what time of the day or night you called him, he was always working.
Dan hasn't just built nonprofits. He's built avenues for people to be all of who they are.
So one of the things I'm most grateful for about my friendship with Dan is the fact that he motivates me. No matter where I am in the world, I get a call, I get an email from Dan, we get together, we have conversations. Next thing you know, I want to go out and try to save the world. That's my friend Dan.